What up, what up, what up, y'all? It's your girl Aries. Thank you for tapping in with your friend for this episode 4 of Found Missing While a Pond. And I'm just gonna put this out here straight out the gate, y'all. I really feel like it was giving filler episode. Nonetheless, if you're here, make sure that you liking the video, subscribing, subbing up to your girl, and yeah, let's get into it. So we open up on this episode with Sir and Gabby, they arguing in the past. This is Gabby having another one of those flashbacks. She's arguing with Sir about her latest assignment. She's like, what is there to study for when you gonna give me a script anyway? They get into it. She throws a book, have a fit, and ends up finding a note tucked inside of the spine of one of those books, folded up. And it's a note from a girl named Annie. Yeah, a note from a girl named Annie. And basically, the note is saying that if you're finding this, I was here too, y'all. Do not give up. Whoever you are, wherever you are reading this, if Sir got you, don't give up. So I'm off the top. I'm thinking, like, Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Where are you now? Okay, so we leave that scene out of Gabby's flashback and we cut over to karaoke night over at Zeke's. And right off the bat, I just noticed that, like, every time we're in Zeke's apartment, it's laid out. You could tell that he has it laid out and comfortable for him to do whatever it is that he wants inside, since he is agoraphobic and afraid to go outside. Yeah, it looks super cool. He got lights. They having karaoke. I was actually really interested in this part because I love me some karaoke. I love to sing, and even though I may not be the best at it, I definitely likes, to sing. I love somebody that's gonna be singing and giving me some good runs and things, doing the acrobatics with their voice, even though I may not be able to carry along and keep up. Now I ain't gonna even hold y'all. You know what, I do be keeping up. It's just that it could only be in my mind that I am able to do these things. I sound good in the shower, I sound good in the car. That's all that counts. Okay, so after we leave karaoke night, this is basically just a scene with the whole crew, including Trent, the police officer. We all here, and yeah, we end up going over to the office and we find out that the next case is a missing child. He's a child of a divorcing couple. I don't know if they, like, in the midst of the divorce or then already went through it, but nonetheless, this kid is that. So his parents are divorcing. He seems to have run off because he's not dealing with that well, which is, it's understandable. So the dad and the mom in here arguing. Gabby let it be known, look, what I'm not going to do is any drama. And might I say that Gabby was looking so beautiful in this outfit. Like, she was just fire, like with her leather pants on and her silk shirt. He was very much giving monochromatic. I was like, look, y'all, I need to step my fashion game up on a level like this. Like, I think that I'm cool when it comes to fashion. That is something that I just really admire and adore about just everyday life. Like, what am I gonna put on? But yeah, Gabby, that outfit, I was feeling it. That's all, nonetheless. So dad ends up, saying that, yeah, I dropped them off to that judgmental church of the moms over there. And they head over to the church, end up finding a little, like the gate at the back of the church, because they were assuming that he went over there to skate. Found out he's like a little low key skater. That's what he does to release his I mean, whatever he's feeling as a 13-year-old boy, that parents are getting divorced. He's going over to the church to skate to release his frustration. But they notice that the gate has been lifted up and it has a little piece of cloth, a little swatch of cloth from Matthew's shirt. So, they hot on his trail right now. And Gabby gets this information back to Sir. Gabby Sir basically knows that from the way that Gabby is moving around upstairs, he can tell that when she's in her closet, she's working on a cold case, and he calls her out about, you're working on Annie's case again, aren't you? You know what, sir just really get on my nerves because he holds all the answers. But he's such a manipulator that he's just gonna he's just gonna keep all this from Gabby and just watch her squirm and twist and just anything that he can do to maintain some form of control, because right now he ain't got much. He tied up, chained up in the basement. I'm just happy that he has a working toilet. I said Gabby ain't going for all that smelling poop and pee pee down there. She gave this man a working toilet, and I'm just not even mad. Okay, so after Sir is just like calling that out about Gabby trying to crack open Annie's case, Margaret and the dad of the missing boy have a little moment. The dad, Margaret's trying to console him, say, "Look, I know how you feel." The dad is like, "No, you don't." Little do he know that Margaret, and yes, I'm putting some respect on the details lady name this time, y'all. This is Miss Margaret, and her son Jamie went missing from a bus station a while ago, Dad. So she definitely knows what she's talking about when it comes to this. And dad and Margaret, they just really bond. Margaret is letting her know, like, look, this is what I know about you. You're a good dad. You got non-GMO snacks here, organic hand sanitizer. But what's this sticker back here, DFT? What is that? Okay, and the daddy lets her know that this is a divorced fathers togethers group. And off top, I'm just thinking like, okay, this is the route that we're definitely gonna head down as far as my first clue, because we know that there are bound to be some bad actors in this camp of DFT, because I'm sure that there are, just as there could be a lot of women in the women's together divorce group, okay, there are going to be some people that have a lot of animosity towards the other partner, maybe the other gender in the whole. So we ain't knowing where this is going to go, but it definitely seems like the right path. So although Matthew's mom was really strict on like having him be in a screen-free household, really no social media activity from this little boy, he did have a little game. She gave him look like a little PSP type game, which he didn't know connected to the internet. Zeke, Lil Majors, ends up finding that out and gets to town. He's trying to find out what his digital footprint is. Bella Lacey is there with Zeke, and she's telling him, like, look, I learned how to really detect lies in my most recent law class, and you do it as 4 points to the whole thing. Meanwhile, she ends up calling him out, like, look, I know you ain't being 100% honest, but you got a good reason to be as private as you are, Zeke, so I'm not gonna even hold you. Matthew, meanwhile, we find out from his little DFT friends that are down there at the Mosley and Associates office with their dad. We find out that he did not like church, and that he told them if he had to go to church again, he was gonna run. The little boy Tony, which is the older character, who Margaret does notice him sweating a little bit more than the other kid, grabbing on to the arm of the chair more than the other kid. He has something that he's holding back. So she really zeroes in on his ears to get to the bottom of what's going on. And she ends up getting out of him that, look, Matthew, he felt like adults were phony. I told him they are all phony. And you know that Sir is really a literature scholar, so Gabby took that information back to him. They end up finding out that that's a line from The Catcher in the Rye. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember Catcher in the Rye? So that's a popular book. Like Sir said, this boy is 13 years old. He definitely got that from an older student, and it's quite possible that that older student led him astray. So the crew suspects that Matthew ran off once Zeke ended up getting into his little PSP um gaming console. Don, lo and behold, is a gamer himself, and he lets him know, like, look, check Twitch, check this, check that. There's a streamer, Xavier, that they end up finding that Matthew is subscribed to or something. Don recognizes him and knows that he just recently had like a little live or meet and greet, and this is right before the press conference. So we're going to work on Xavier, and we're going over to the office to get the parents intact for the press conference. But the mom goes into a stress induced heart attack right before the press conference, understandably so. She arguing back and forth with the dad. Meanwhile, Matthew is missing, and it's just like, okay, we have really no leads, honestly, y'all. Like I said, I really felt like this episode was a filler because when we do end up finding Matthew, it just kind of happened, and it was just over before we knew it. So stuff that happened really didn't make sense, but I'm getting there. So here we go. Matthew did end up going to Xavier's meet and greet. They end up finding that out, and they pull Xavier down there to the Mosley and Associates office. Xavier does know that he admits that he knows Matthew. He says that Matthew is like a kid. Yeah, he 13, so he really didn't have much interaction with him. But while the crew is looking over Xavier's live, like they just recapping it and going over anything in the background, they do notice Matthew seemingly being lured into a vehicle. He got in reluctantly, and it appears that he's making eye contact with somebody off camera. Okay, so Gabby right up top, she's thinking that he's being trafficked, and she hits up Bella Lacey. Bella Lacey is immediately just like, oh my God, she's affected by, they are all affected anytime a little kid goes missing, but she is in particular, and this prompts her to ask Gabby about Sir and if she thinks that Sir will ever get caught. And Gabby is just like, I mean, like, what brought that on? And so Bella Lacey is letting her know how she feel anytime these type of cases come up. But she also notices that Gabby is hitting those four markers for when you lying or not. She's noting the deflection in her tone, and she's really caught off guard by it. She's about to call her out, I think, but Gabby stuns her just like she always does and hang up the phone and go on about her business. Okay, so Sir has a theory. Sir has a theory about who's leading Matthew astray. Sir feels like the fact that Matthew doesn't have any trust in adults right now, that he's not going to be led off, um or like he's not going to go off with no adult without basically some other kid aiding and abetting. Who that other kid is, y'all, is one of the DFT kids, Tony, the one that was in there with his dad that Margaret was peeping out. And so they end up going over there to the dad's house where Tony is supposed to be at. But this dad is out of touch with his child, don't know what's going on. He he's sitting there, they really like going through ransacking his room. He's like, I don't know. And I mean, I don't know what that is. They opening up books, they end up finding some little sleeves for a motel room key, and they find out, oh, I don't know what that is, but they end up rolling over there to the motel, and they track down the boys. This is what I mean, y'all. This part did not make any sense at all, because when they burst into that hotel room, Tony's sitting on the bed. Matthew was handcuffed or something to a furnace or a desk chair or something, but Gabby just grabs him out, go out into the driveway parking lot area. Tony ends up getting shot from a Maxima that was at the exit at least 200 feet away. But yeah, this is where it just caught me off guard, because it's like, what happened? All we hear is Tony saying, they make me do this. They always make me do this. And I just felt like, boy, are you lying? Are you lying right now? Like, I just really didn't have all the answers that I needed from that scene. So, um, yeah, basically, I don't. That was it. Gabby done found the boys. Basically, solves another crime, goes to the hospital and tries to console Tony. And she's met with his father, like, don't come up in here with all that. Oh, I'm so sorry, because I really felt like you sacrificed my son to find another one, and that's not cool. Really, sir? Is that what happened? Because you didn't even know where the hell your son was. So if Gabby wouldn't have been there, he might not have been alive at all. I was really upset at the way this dad came at Gabby. Don't I really was. But I just gonna have to let that go because yeah, it just wasn't making sense. I'm gonna just say, you know what, filler episode, and basically this episode's purpose was to introduce us to the fact that Sir had kidnapped someone prior to Gabby, and where the heck is she? That's Gabby's other mission that she's working in the background, on top of keeping Sir hidden, on top of having um an emotional connection to Trent and can't really go any further because she got a man living in the basement. This is just one of them other things that they didn't weaved into the story for us, which I like it. It's just that we could have really did without maybe the missing person this episode. Like, I really wonder if we're gonna get them type of episodes where we just focus on the characters themselves and not necessarily a crime, because we still need to know what's going on with Lil Majors and his trauma, which in this episode you could tell he was really worked up about, the way that Matthew was abducted and what could have possibly been happening. So I feel like maybe Zeke was someone that was trafficked as a young boy, because Don was telling him, look, like, we still on this one. We still gonna track those people down that got away. Like, how they get away, y'all? Y'all were there. Who else was there with Gabby when she went in there to get the boys? Because somebody should have been waiting at the entrance to at least get, I mean, y'all could have went to the motel, the office, to ask for a recording so we could get the license plate off that vehicle. It really wasn't hard. Come on, y'all. But yeah, it's just a matter of them being lazy in this episode and just needed something to fill some space. That's why this review is not going to be super long. That's why I just went on and did it live, because I know sometimes when I'm like recording these videos for Found, I get real long winded and I'm like, man, that review didn't need to be that long. So let me see if I got any other notes here that made sense. Yeah, so after Tony's dad really went in on Gabby, letting her know, like, look, you sacrificed my boy, da da da. And it hurt Gabby's feelings. She went home, threw a lot of stuff around, and broke some things. What's so funny in this scene is Sir from the basement, chained up. Gabrielle! 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 Like, boy, what is you gonna do? I wonder, like, what does he feel? Like, you could tell that he's like, girl, what's wrong? What's wrong, Gabby? Like, do you think that that's your daughter? Do you think that that's your woman? I'm just confused, sir, and I really want to know the answers from you. Um, but yeah, Gabby is really hurt by it because she knows that she's working as a child advocate in general. So she would hate to have that feeling or have that impression on the people that she cherry picks and chooses who she's going to really go to bat for. So she's dealing with that, but she sees Annie's box and walks over to it, pulls that note out to as a reminder to don't give up and keep fighting. And Gabby does just that, as we know she would. What do y'all think about this episode, y'all? Now, I don't think it was bad. I just think that it was something that they threw in the middle of the season. I hope it's not the middle of the season. If they doing this kind of stuff at episode 4, it might just be though. I feel like at this point we might get a cool 10 episodes out of Found. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. It just, I feel like they slacked off for what they normally do, as far as the missing person. The backstory is keeping it pushing. The backstory still has my interest. The series itself still has my interest. I'm interested in episode 5 and just the progression of Gabby and Sir. You know what? I really want to focus on them. I'm wanting to see an episode that goes into detail for each main character. Let's show some backstory on Sir. Let's show some more backstory on Don and on Zeke. So, yeah. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comments. Make sure that you like the video and sub up to your girl. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.